Hi, I'm Alicia, and welcome to my Operational Innovations channel, where I focus on process tips, techniques, and strategies to help you level up in the area of project management, product ownership, and small business operations. So today's topic, the small business health check, we're still here, folks. This is from my top 10 tips list, and it's number 7, get a coach. Now, this is such an important topic, and I am so glad to share perspectives other than mine on this. You can find the links to that below. I'll be happy to share those. And today, I'm excited to bring you a different perspective and thrilled to introduce John Eisenschmidt. So John and I go back to 2015. He and I met at Coaching Agile Teams, which was this great class that we had together, and we just hit it off. So since then, we've co-founded the Agile Coaching Exchange. I'll put a link to that below. And we've done business together, and we're constantly strategizing about how to do more business together. I've learned a great deal from John and about coaching, and he inspires me to take my path towards building my competency in coaching. And so I'm so thrilled to have him on the channel today. Welcome, John. Thanks for joining me today.
Alicia, thanks so much for inviting me, and it's been so exciting to watch your YouTube series unfold live and in person. So it's really exciting for me to actually be on this side of the YouTube channel.
Well, I am so glad to have you here. So we're going to go ahead and jump on in. So let's talk about this for a bit. John, what is your business? Tell our folks what your business is about.
Yeah, thank. It's it's like the question you get all the time on the airplane, and I don't always have the best answer for. So this is my second run at a small boutique consulting firm, and I worked in back office IT and delivery for 10 years before I became a consultant. So it's really people, process, technology. I'm an agile coach, which I think of as like process work. I've done project management in the past. A lot of general consulting and problem solving in companies of all sizes. Everybody needs that help. And then like you, I'm an ICF certified executive and leadership coach. So I do work one-on-one with people, but it's also something that I just have in my toolbox that I use all the time in my other types of work. So most of my clients either call on me for agile coaching, or I do a lot of tools work with the Atlassian stack, Jira, Confluence. So sometimes it'll be about agile process in the tools or executive and leadership coaching.
Okay, yeah, that's right. The Jira Jedi. Someone just recently brought that up. So, how long have you been at this? You might have mentioned it and I missed it in there. How long have you been at this current version of your practice?
Yeah, thanks. This is 3 years in this iteration. So I had a business partner in the prior business. So if I can go back and answer the question the other direction, I never wanted to be a consultant, which I think is going to tee up what this question is about today. But I really never wanted to be a consultant. I was in companies for 10 years, and then I had an opportunity in 2007 to go out and work independently in a way that I was a 1099, an independent contractor, and then eventually started my first consulting firm. So I had a partner from 2009 to 2017, I think it was, so about 8 years. And then it's
Wow.
3 years in the second run. So 13 years altogether as an independent outside of companies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's so interesting that you refer to it in the iteration, because I totally get that, right? Because I mean, this is when I was packing and moving, I discovered that I had done my own business a time before the 3 times I thought. So this is my 3rd time, but really my 4th time being an entrepreneur. So I get it now. What's different is I really wanted to do this. And so I just figured I'd just keep doing it until I got it right. So different perspectives, right? You want to do it, or you're finding yourself positioned in this way. And so, you find out what works. So on this note of coaching though, can you identify the single most impactful thing having a coach has had on your business?
Oh, I love this question. The short answer is it created my business. So the last job I had in a company before I was independent. I worked at a university on a project with a woman who went and got ICF coach trained at Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was worked alongside her and got to know coaching sort of through her coaching journey. I was out independent, as I mentioned, in November of 2007. And then about 6 months after that, I was like, well, if I was ever going to start a consulting firm or really make this independent, like a real go at this independent thing, this is probably the time to do it because I have a full-time paying gig and support. And so I spent probably 6 months of my own trying to start this business in let's call it mid 2008, right? I had been in that job for more than 6 months and just could not get it going. So I ended up reaching out to this old colleague of mine, Cara Danner, who's on the East Coast, DC area, phenomenal executive and leadership coach who's been working out for a lot of years. And I ended up spending 6 months in coaching with her, really working on my own leadership development and the things that I needed really to start that first iteration of, I guess it was really probably the second iteration, right? I was a 1099 without even trying. But then that first business that I was going to have with a partner where we were going to have payroll and a website and letterhead and all that stuff, it took probably 6 months in coaching to work out all the things that were important before I found the right people and actually started putting things in motion.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that, sometimes you need that, especially if this is kind of your first time around, like you said, having employees and taking things to the next level. And so, was this coaching that you got, was it more coaching or was it like advice giving or mentoring, do you think?
I love that question because so many people, so I know, I guess for the people that don't have the benefit of the private conversations we have, right? You and I have a lot of these conversations about, I'm very explicit when I change hats, right? Consulting is problem solving when the client brings you in to solve their problems. A lot of people go to coaching initially for what they believe is like, I have an acute problem I want solved. And as we both know, and I hope if this is news to the people that are watching, coaching is really about the answers are within the client and what are the questions we ask or the experiments we run or the things that we do where the client sets the agenda to uncover that for themselves, right? So the coaching, I had the benefit of real IC, not to keep ringing the drum for ICF, right? But International Coach Federation really sets a standard about this and how it should be. And it should be about the client sets the agenda, hold the client accountable. The answers are with them and we discover through inquiry. That was the kind of coaching I got. And so, yes, I probably could, as a consultant myself in businesses, I've gone in and rebuilt supply chains in 6 weeks. Like I understand that if you want the problem solved today and you have the money, you can move heaven and earth to get the outcome. But what I was really, it turns out that I was on this sort of journey of self-exploration about, do I want to be an entrepreneur? Do I want to be a C-level executive? Do I want to do this on my own with partners? And so having somebody who's coaching, for me anyway, was really about asking those questions, helping me get clear, helping me to target my own sort of professional and personal development around the things I was trying to do at the time was phenomenally helpful. But the kind of coaching I got was really what we would think of as textbook ICF coaching.
Yeah.
A lot of me answering a lot of questions.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great, right? And and I think that to me that kind of thing is sustainable, right? Because when you're building these things on your own from what you have within, it builds a confidence in you to say, I understand this, I can come up with my own solutions and I can take myself forward. So I think that's great. And I really wanted to ask this question, and I'm so glad that you clarified it in the way that you did, because there is a big difference between consulting and coaching. And I just want people that are making the decision to get a coach to know what they're signing up for, or at least go into it with their eyes wide open so that they can get the most out of their resources. Because as entrepreneurs, putting that money aside to do this, that's a commitment, and you want to make sure you're getting the right thing.
Your money and your time and your focus. Do we have a moment? Can I tell a real quick story related to this? Yes, that just illustrates this point. So in the second iteration of my business, and this was after we met, so I think it was early 2017, there's a local social media entrepreneur that held a small workshop that I got into with somebody else that I was potentially going to partner with. Anyway, so this is a big event about social media marketing and how to focus your business as an entrepreneur. And the two guys on stage, which I think highly, I'm going to tell the story in a way that I'm not going to say who they are. But I do think very highly of them and the work that they do. But here they are up on stage, and the gentleman that I'm with at this event is also an ICF certified coach. So all the things we've talked about. And here are these people on stage talking about coaching and marketing coaching. And, I would charge $2,000 an hour for marketing coaching, but I don't even have the time and I don't want to deal with it. And here's all these, it was a small group. So there's probably 50 people, including us at this event, that all wanted this, that would have paid for this because they wanted the acute answer. So if you fast forward, one of the gentlemen that was on the stage actually got what we would think of as real executive and leadership ICF type coaching about 6 months ago, and posted on his very regular podcast, like, I realize now that I was using this word coach in a certain way, and people think about sports coaches more like advice givers, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the expert, let me tell you what the answer is. And we go through hundreds of hours of training to learn that, either on purpose or by accident, that the answer that we have is maybe not the right answer for the client. So even if we told the client our answer, it may not work out. So yeah, all that to say, like, there are people out there that will call themselves a coach, and they are glad to swoop in when you have these acute problems and charge you money and give you the solution. But is it even the right solution? And are you too eager to pay for the acute treatment when what you need is whatever, focus or self-work or reflection or something else you might get from another medium? So I just think it's funny, as coaches, when we look out in the realm, anybody can call themselves a coach. And what standards do those people follow and how do they work is just such a entertaining to me sometimes. We'll put it that way.
It's entertaining. It's interesting. I find that, when I sign up clients, that to your point, your earlier point about being very deliberate about when I'm switching hats, I feel like I am educating people that are coming to me so that they, as the buyer, can make a good buying decision, because they think they're getting mentors and advice givers. And I'm like, that's not what I'm going to be doing, just so that we're all on the same page. So that's great. Thank you for that story, and thanks for helping to illuminate that point. So what tips would you give to a solopreneur or small business operator about getting a coach?
Oh, such a great question. Off the top of my head, the first thing would be, don't wait any longer than a week. You've already waited long enough, right? If you've been thinking about this, if you've been looking at it, if you know what it is, you've already waited long enough. In my case, it was 6 months of maybe this weekend, maybe this week after work one day, I'll figure it out or I'll get the focus. But it wasn't until I had an accountability partner that helped me put a plan together and held me to it that I really got there. I wouldn't wait any longer. And yeah, it's just that whole aspect of like getting organized, making a plan, focusing on your strengths and weaknesses. We talk about this too in this talk we do, right, about building a support team. And I think that was a big thing I got out of coaching too, is starting to think about, like, I'm never going to be a lawyer. I took a lot of accounting classes, but I'm never going to be a CPA. And so running a business, there's a handful of people that I need that are good, that are really close. And those are all, I would say, all realizations I got out of coaching. So the best recommendation I would make in general is just get into that process, find somebody that you have chemistry with, that you resonate with, that you think could help get you pointed in the direction you're trying to go.
Yeah. No, this is very true. Get started, find a coach. And I'll put the links below to the International Coach Federation, which is ICF, that we've referred to. And actually, a segue to our last question is, where can people find out about you and your business, John?
Oh, thanks. I didn't realize I was going to get a plug in here. So yeah, it's John Eisenschmidt, and I'm sure Alicia will put it somewhere so people don't have to spell it. I am on LinkedIn. Agile Kata, AGILEKATA, 2 words, is my business. So agilekata.com is the website. As Alicia mentioned at the beginning of this, we also run a group called the Agile Coaching Exchange, which is a meetup group for, it's a community of practice and a meetup group for Agile coaches around the US. Agile Coaching Exchange, all spelled out.com is our website. And there's also other Twitter and Facebook, other social media. And I'm a member of the International Coach Federation and the Project Management Institute and the Scrum Alliance and Agile Alliance, all the sort of usuals, all that stuff I think is on my LinkedIn. That's the best way to find me.
Okay. Good. Yes, and I'll put all those links below so that people can find you and connect with you. Well, this, I really appreciate your perspective on this topic, because It's just so important for people to be able to make these decisions for themselves. And as I mentioned, as a small business operator, it can really, it can be challenging if you don't know the difference. And so I'm hoping that the video that I did, the interviews that I'll continue to do, including this one on this particular topic, helps people to make those decisions. So thank you, John.
Thank you, Alicia, so much for the questions and for your time. And as you know, we're both very passionate about coaching in this topic. And so if people want to connect with you, connect with me, have follow-up questions, you don't have to make a huge investment. You don't have to get certified as a coach. But finding, if you are a solo entrepreneur, whether you're new at business or you're in an iteration like we are, and we all peer coach and we have other coaches we work with. It's just so helpful to tap into those resources. So if there's people who have not had the benefit of coaching and they're looking for that and they're not sure their searches, please, use the resources that are in here. Please reach out if you've got questions.
Absolutely. So that's it, folks. Another perspective on this topic. So what resonated for you here? What tips or resources do you have to share? Please share your thoughts, your input, your insights and tools down in the comments area on this idea of get a coach. As small business operators, we're all in this together and we can all use the help that we can get. So thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for any other interviews that I have coming up. As a matter of fact, I've got a few more coming up on this top 10 tips for small business operators, otherwise known as my small business health check. If you like this video, I invite you to like, subscribe, and click that notify button so that you can get all of the future contents coming up. And any sort of engagement that you can do would be so meaningful for me as a content creator. I very much appreciate it. The more you engage, the more the videos can get shared with other people. So I sure appreciate that. Let's see, what else do I have to say? So that's it. I think that's it. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit that notify button because I've got another series coming out, the 9 things that wildly successful entrepreneurs do. So that series is coming out as well. So you don't want to miss that. And I will see you next time.